Whenever the AFS problems usually happen, the motor might just end up facing the sky or facing down.
Which is cool to know, but what's AFS anyway? Let's try to explain it. Let's first start sketching out a basic car. I'll draw 3 of them. These drawings are not meant to be artistic, rather they're illustrative. And I'll draw 3 scenarios, and pretty soon we'll be able to explain why we have these 3 scenarios: flat, facing up, and facing down. Work with me here. All right, so that's what you can see, right? Either it's going in a straight path, it's going facing up, overloaded, or facing down. Very light with a heavy front. And so those are the headlights over here. And we're trying to model what the headlights should be doing. In a normal system, your headlights will be, if you're driving straight, your headlights are facing straight. If you load your trunk too much, your headlights are facing the sky. If you, and you know, you have a dead zone underneath. If you load it in a weird way and your front is way heavier, then that's what happens. But that's a standard system. So let's now sketch what we actually have here. All right. Now, this is what the AFS, the Adaptive Front Lighting System, does. We'll model it the same way using those cars. But now the goal here is to make sure that your roadway is lit up correctly. This is with regards to elevation. The height of the beams, they have to be appropriate, right? So we're going to sketch it out again, right? We'll have flat road that is just going straight, nice and smooth. I'll load the trunk so that, you know, your nose is all the way in the air, and the other odd situation where your tail is in the air. If your car is neutral, it makes sense logically that your headlight beams are going to stay neutral, and we'll just model them as straight on over here. If your rear is down, you ought to compensate for that by bringing your beams down so that you're not lighting up the sky, right? Makes sense. And on the other hand, we're going to compensate for your tail going up by you bringing your lights up as well. Makes sense, correct? Now, what I need to mention is that we have a sensor in the back. It's called a height sensor, and it's actually connected to the suspension. Let me try to sketch it on a different page. Maybe that will make more sense, make better sense. All right, let's sketch out a car system again. I'm doing my best over here. Work with me. And now what I want you to do is focus on the rear. We have a sensor. Okay, so headlight first, and those are the tilt motors. I'll explain those later. And you have computers in the middle. In the rear suspension, you have something that's supposed to be, this is the neutral position, right? It's facing, let's just call it flat. It's not exactly like this, but I'll explain it like that. When it's flat, it makes the headlight motors go flat. When this thing is tilted, say, for example, when you load it too heavily, right, the angle in between is going to decrease. Basically, the actuation is going to go up, and I'm trying to keep the air neutral and the car moving. And what it does here is compensates by making the headlight tilt downwards. Then we'll talk about the third situation again, where somehow, oddly enough, you jacked up the rear. You can actually test it by lifting your car while it's running, and you'll see the headlights move. So the angle, this arrow again goes down, and it compensates by making the headlight face up, right? That makes sense. That's what we were talking about, right? Talking about right here, right? Makes sense, right? So, and now we're going to talk about, well, first let's label this. The thing right at the headlights, I call that the tilt motor. That's what makes the lens go up and down. And it's going to be backwards. Maybe turn this the other way. I'm going to talk about the sideways motion because the adaptive front lighting system allows for that too. So here, now let's try to sketch the side mirrors so that you know where's the front and where's the back. And sketch the rest of the body. Just enough for you to know what you're looking at. It would have been odd if it was facing the other direction, right? Although it was better space to work with. Shark fin antenna. Very important to have that. So let's talk about when your system is, when you're driving neutrally straight forward, both beams are makes sense, they'll be facing forward, right? But then you find yourself in a situation where you need to turn right. Again, this is driving on the right side of the road. You need to light up your carb, for example, left-hand drive situations. You need to light up your carb. Only the right headlight swivels to the right. The left one just stays there. Now, the other situation when you're turning left, which only happens above 15 miles an hour, the left beam swivels and the right beam just stays straight. Makes sense, right? Light up. It's all about providing proper lighting for the road, right? So there you go. That's what happens. And so again, you have your headlights, and what allows the lens to swivel, they're called swivel motors. Those are embedded with the headlights. If you have AFS, that is, and you have the computer, and these ones get the input from the steering angle sensor. The other one got them from the height sensor in the rear. All right, makes sense. That's a standard and that's how it's supposed to work. But let me show you one example of one of the things that could go wrong with a system like this.
I'm sitting here stationary, but one of my headlights keeps bouncing up and down. My left one, that is. Look at the walls. Okay, so this is the right one. Nothing's going on. Look at the left one. Has a little bit of a bounce, up and down, and that's what it's doing on the far wall. Up and down, up and down. Look at that. So what I've tried so far, turning on the AFS system. AFS off. Right? Hasn't done anything for it. It's still bouncing. So what I'm gonna do is just disable the thing, because I don't know if it's a problem with the computer for it. I doubt it. I think it's just something to do with the headlight. So I'm gonna go attack the headlight and turn it, disconnect that adjustment motor. Cool, let's go. Make sure this is facing up straight ahead first. Good thing at this speed, and especially with your transmission in park, they're not gonna move. So right now they should be aimed as straight as possible. Let's go and disconnect that thing. Maybe that's it, I don't know. Yeah, that's it. That's the plug. I'm gonna disconnect that. See what happens. All right, cool. Disconnected it. Gonna do the same on this side just to even it out. Oh great, can't really reach it, huh? Because this one's right here. Great. Well, this one's not giving me problems, so I guess I don't really need to mess with it. But I'll do it when I get home. Alright. Turn the AFS system on. Cool. It doesn't say anything about light. It's not tripping. All right, so let's look at it again. And there you have it. No bounce, no weirdness happening. I think we did it. I got rid of the nuisance. It's not the proper fix for the problem, but shoot, I'm gonna stop it before that motor goes out on me, because if the motor keeps going up and down, it's gonna wear soon enough. And I don't want to have to deal with a broken AFS system. I'd rather deal with a deactivated system. And as I said, for now, it's not telling me anything, so that's cool. Look at the right one. The right one should walk whenever you have it in D, like this. Okay, do it right here. Okay, look at the right one. There you go. Let's get a little closer to the wall. All right, right, turn right. There you go. That's a little more dramatic, right? So the right one still works. The left one, you usually have to be at speed, about 15 miles an hour at minimum, to make it turn left. So what I'll do is just disable both of them, make them work like standard lights. My battery is kind of low on the phone. That's why my flashlight went off. So I will not be able to show how that works. But pretty much go to the other side and disconnect the same plug that I disconnected. And I'm going to do what I usually do, which is wrap it up with like, I'm gonna use a glove, honestly. Glove or a Ziploc bag with some zip ties just to protect that harness. Actually, why not? I'm gonna use a glove.
Well, yeah, that was a plan, but hint, it does not happen. Keep watching to see what I actually ended up doing.
And then I'll be fully protected. For now, I'm gonna go plug it back in because I'm about to wash up the engine, and just to make sure that I don't cause any corrosion while leaving it over there. Okay? Well, now come think of it, actually, I should show you how it bounces with, well, a little closer to the gate. So let's reconnect it. I'm gonna reconnect that one. Can't see it, so it's just using my hands. And now I'm wishing that the problem is still there. Otherwise, I'm gonna look like a fool if I just fix it by disconnecting the plug. I can hear it. As soon as I connected it, I can feel the motor running up and down. I can feel it in my hand. That motor is crazy. I can sure. All right, so let's check it out. There it is. The left one's still bouncing, going up and down, right? There it is. And I'm in the same position.
As mentioned earlier, I was gonna try to do some things. One, I tried to look for any fuses in the system that would be specifically and exclusively for the AFS system. That was a fail. So I decided that the next thing I was going to give a try was going to be the module, just in case for whatever reason the module is telling only one motor to go up and down. So this is what happened.
All right, so the AFS system does not have a dedicated fuse, but this is the module. This is the right side of the car. What I'm gonna do is disconnect this module, see what it does to the system. Okay, done deal. Oh, it doesn't like it. The AFS system is blinking. It's going crazy. Yeah, doesn't like it at all. Either find a way to replace it and prevent that light from blinking all the time, because I can't stand that. Yeah, I just can't stand that at all. So what I'm gonna do is reinstall this for now till I can get a replacement, maybe. But what I'm gonna do is disconnect the motor, because I cannot stand the motor just going crazy. The part number is 235CL EH000. All right, so let's reinstall this and call it good. We tried. I was curious as to what would happen. Kind of had an idea that's what would happen, but you know, had to see it for myself.
So what I ended up doing was getting my spare. I do have a spare module, which I had confirmed was working when I removed it from the other car about a year or two, 3 ago, whatever. However, the results were the same. So I determined that the module itself was not the problem. Neither was the load sensor in the back. The problem, because if it were the load sensor, both headlights would have been going up and down. I convinced myself that it was a problem with the motor, and I decided to tackle the motor at the left headlight. So let's see what happens.
Okay, I'm ready to risk it all. As you can see here, the 3 wires these 3 wires control the motor going up and down. You got orange, green and black, and then you got a black and yellow one. This one here is the ground. I'm gonna cut it off. Well, not off, just snip it in the middle and then tape it. Reason being, I've done everything I could. I think the headlight is bad, but I'm not in a position to mess with the headlight right now. So I already replaced the module. I have a spare one. The behavior was the same. There are no fuses to pull, and I'm thinking if the rear suspension member was bad, then both of them should have been swiveling up and down, both the right and the left one. But since this is the only problem, so I'm just going to cut this here and tape it. Then, once we replace the light, we can deal with it a different way. For now, this is going to have to work. Okay. So I already snipped the wire, taped it up. Let's hook it back up. Great, just like I thought. No power. It's not swiveling up and down. Now let's turn on the headlights and check it out. So close to the garage. Let's back up a little bit. There you go. No swiveling. So as I said, that achieves the same effect as disconnecting the plug, except now I don't have to think of creative ways to plug it up, right? I don't have to think of ways to protect it from water corrosion. That tape, I taped both ends of the wire that I cut. I taped both of them together. Then I taped the sleeve over both of them. So it's quadruple protected. I'm not really concerned about water getting in. And as I said, for now, it's gonna work. The sideways motion I've not disabled, so it should still be able to turn left whenever I'm at speed. And the right side, as I said, you can see it still works, right? When I put it in drive, the right side will walk as predicted. The left side, I need to be going at least 15 miles an hour. So let's test it out. But I do know that, if I were to maybe load the back so heavily, the right side motor is gonna adjust while the left side is just gonna stay put. Kind of goofy. But as I said, I just don't want the motor wearing, and whenever the AFS problems usually happen, the motor might just end up facing the sky or facing down. So for now, since they're both facing forward, I'll just have them work like that. I could get it to about 15 miles an hour. There you go. Then turn it and see what happens to the. Let me do this. I want it to be a sharp turn. See if the left one turns. Yeah, it does. The sideways thing works. Do you see it walk back? We're gonna do it again when we get to speed. We're doing like 20, 25. The limit is 30 here.
And now we know if you fail to latch your hood, it's going to fly open at between 25 to 30 miles an hour. But don't you worry, it was not permanent. I was able to put everything back together. However, the main task, the main problem that brought us out here tonight has been solved. And with that, I'd like to say good luck and good night.